I was brought up to believe that a person must be rescued when drowning, regardless of religion and nationality. Legacies are achieved by great leaders. Unfortunately, not all great leaders are recognized. Their stories are left hidden in shadow for no one to know of. Irena Sendler was one of these leaders. The female Schindler, as people called her, was born on February 15, 1910. Irena's father was a doctor and tried his best to teach Irena to do right in every situation. Regretfully, her father died in a typhus epidemic of 1917. He contracted the disease while caring for the poor Jewish people in Ottawa. Irena grew up to be a Polish nurse and, like her father, took care of Jewish people. In 1933, Adolf Hitler set out to become the Führer of Germany and planned to gain dominance. Hitler convinced his people that the Jews were the reason for their defeat in the Great War. He began to send Jewish people to concentration camps. In the concentration camps, the Jews were treated with much cruelty. They were forced to work under very poor conditions. Elders and children were put to work, even though they were the least productive and would die soon after being put to work. Hitler strongly encouraged people to hurt and violate the rights of Jewish people through news broadcasts, posters, films, and books. Jewish people were portrayed as stout, greedy, and evil. Children were given books that told stories that shaped ideas of Jewish people being evil or bad. During the Holocaust, Irena became a member of Zagora, a secret organization that was a Polish resistance that helped Jewish people. She helped 2,500 Jewish children from the Warsaw Ghetto under a false name. The families would give their children to Irena so she could help them. Irena had secret messengers that were also part of Zagora and would help her assist children in escaping the Warsaw Ghetto. The families would give the children to Irena so she could help them. Irena had secret messengers that were also part of Zagora and would help her assist children in escaping the Warsaw Ghetto. They would drug the babies to forbid them from crying and smuggle them out of the ghetto. Irena used many clever tactics to sneak children out of the Warsaw Ghetto. Coffins, toolboxes, ambulances, body bags, and boxes that held supplies were all used to help the children escape cruel conditions. She would also hide a child under a stretcher using an ambulance. They could escape through the poorhouse or using pipes or other secret underground passages. She would even carry them out on a sack, suitcase, or trunk. Children could be legally taken away using an ambulance if the child was very ill or pretended to be sick. Irena could then find them a new family. She and her network made sure that each family that was hiding a child knew the child must be returned to Jewish relatives after the war. She would write the child's name, family, new name, and new family down on a piece of paper and put the information in a jar. There were a total of 2 jars. Those jars were buried under an apple tree in her neighbor's backyard. The only memory the children would have of their past was a small silver spoon engraved with her name. The secret Nazi police were also known not to stop her. They eventually caught on to Irena's strategies and arrested her. She was placed in Piowick prison. Irena was continuously tortured in the Nazis' efforts to get her to reveal the location of the children she had rescued. Though she was tortured to the point where she was placed permanently in a wheelchair, Irena revealed no true information to the Gestapo, who interrogated her wanted the information of every Zagora leader. Irena told them the version that her and her collaborators had prepared in the event that someone got captured. They put Irena on a death sentence. She was to be shot to death. Zagora bribed the German executioner who helped her escape. The next day, the Germans had said that Irena Sendler had been killed. Posters were put all over the city with the news that she had been shot. Irena read these posters herself. During the remaining year of the war, she had to live in hiding, just like the children she had saved. When the war finally ended, she dug up the jars and began to track down every child. She tried to find living parents of the children but had little success, as most of them had been killed in a Treblinka death camp. Irena began to be recognized and people began to connect their stories from their life to hers and realized that she was the woman who saved them in their early childhood. More and more people began to contact her and thank her, and her story began to unravel. Irena was nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize. Though she didn't win, she was acknowledged for her excellence. She also won the Commander's Cross of Order of Polonia Restituta Award in 1996, the Commander's Cross with Star Award in 2001, and the Order of the Smile Award in 2007. She is slowly being more recognized as years pass by, and with each piece of information uncovered about her, the story becomes more and more amazing. Irena was a true hero and wanted nothing but to help people, as she believed they had a purpose and could give them a chance. Irena once said, "Every child saved with my help and the help of all the wonderful secret messengers, who today are no longer living, is the justification of my existence on this earth, and not a title to glory." She was truly someone great, and what she did was truly wonderful.
And I remember Liz coming to me and saying, "Hey, I'm putting together this group. Would you want to be a part of the group?" So I was so excited, and then we talked and we all decided we wanted to learn more about the Holocaust, and we asked Mr. Kennard, do you have any ideas, direction for us? And he gave us this box of clippings. And he said, "Here, take a look, see if you find anything in here that interests you."
We'd actually found in a magazine article, News and World Reports, of other Schindlers, and there's little paragraphs of other women or people that had done different things, and there's a paragraph on Irena Sendler that said she saved 2,500 children from the Warsaw Ghetto. And when we first read that, we all immediately thought it was a typo. We were like, there's no way, how could you save this many people and not have ever heard of her?
As they began to develop this project, there were times where we thought there's just nothing about this woman to be found. And because of communism in Poland all these years, she was not known. She was not even mentioned in the paper. But using the internet, they began to find piece by piece this story.
And we typed in her name. There was one website that came up. It was the Jewish Foundation for the Righteous, and they confirmed she had saved 2,500. Just had a few more paragraphs on her, and that was it. There was nothing else on the internet about her. So we started researching the Warsaw Ghetto, World War II, the Holocaust, other rescuers' stories, children that she saved, but there was really not any information out there. So we finally decided to write the Jewish Foundation for the Righteous an email saying, "Here's what we've got, can you help us?" So I'll never forget the day we met together, and they said, "We got an email, she's still alive, she lives in Warsaw, here's her address." We were ecstatic. This woman had become our hero at this point. So we sat down, we wrote a letter, we sent a copy of our script that we'd put together, we sent pictures of us and money for her to send a letter back to us. So I'll never forget the day in February that Liz came running down the hallway, shouting, "We got a letter," waving it in the air, and we all ran back into Mr. Kennard's classroom. And the very first line said, "To my dear and beloved girls, very close to my heart." She was so warm and willing to share her story. She told us in that first letter she has nightmares every night of her life, wondering, did I do enough? Could I have done more? She started sharing with us how she brought children out. She would take children from the Warsaw Ghetto, talk parents out, promised she would put them in a Polish Catholic home, in an orphanage, in a convent, someplace to take care and hide the children. And her goal all along was to reunite the children with the families after the war. So when she would take the children out of the Warsaw Ghetto, she would write down their Jewish names, their Jewish parents' names, their new Christian names, their age and where they were placed, which she put into jars and buried under an apple tree right across the street from the German barracks. So all 2,500 of the names, or as many as she could get in these 2 jars, were under their noses the whole time, and they had no idea. Just an amazing story. I forgot to mention the money that we sent for Irena to send a letter back to us. We got a receipt in that first letter. She'd given the money to a boys' home. And that just describes Irena to the very end, always giving everything she had to take care of those around her.